Hello, I'm Mary Susie from Bead Me a Story, and today I wanted to share with you a little video of how I like to add colorful chains to my Shrinket pieces. This particular Shrinket I made in a class with Julie. It was the first one I took with her. It was so much fun. We had just a great time, and once I was finished with the piece, she does give you a pre-made chain, but I wanted to kind of make things my own, so I made this this little chainmail chain that goes with it. It includes stripe beads in it, and just adds a little fun and flair to it. Plus, you can make the chain whatever size works best for you. So we're all different weights and sizes, different things look good on different people. So this way you can customize your own chain, and it'll be colorful, and you can make it to match some of your beautiful Shrinket pieces that you make with Julie. Okay, so because I know that not all of you are real familiar with chainmail, I'm going to just briefly go through a couple of things. I'm using a pair of flat nose pliers. I like to use Zerons. They're the most non-slip, so especially if you're a beginner, they work great. For today's lesson, I'm going to use a pair of flat nose and a pair of bent nose pliers. But you can actually use 2 pairs of flat nose, and also you can see I have a longer pair of flat nose pliers. I think for this first step I'll actually use this pair because this is a little bit larger jump ring than I usually use, and that's kind of why you would use the longer pair. So in all my classes I like to teach people that a jump ring is very much like a clock. Okay, so the midnight would be where the opening is. You can grab the jump ring with your pliers at around 3 o'clock. And if you're using bent nose pliers, it's nice because you can, to open the jump ring, you can use the rounded edge, and you can come in and you want to aim for 9 o'clock, but you're going to actually grab half the jump ring. And you can see I'm pulling the right side towards me and pushing the left side away from me. You would go in the opposite direction if you're a left-handed person, and I think you'll find that a bit easier to work with if you are left-handed. But I am right-handed, so we'll go with my method. Now for this particular project, I need to also show you how to close a jump ring, because for our chain, half of the rings are going to be open and half of them are going to be closed. So in this particular jump ring, I'm going to hold it here, and I'm going to show you how to close a jump ring. Now I didn't open it before I'm closing it, but basically we're going to do the same motion. I want you to move your right away from you and the left back towards you, but at the same time you do that, I actually want you to be pushing in. So basically when I close this, I want it to just ever so slightly overlap, or be right there where you're not going to have any kind of seam. Okay, so I didn't quite get there. I'm going to push a little bit further, and you might be able to see at this point it's just ever so slightly overlapping. And then when you bring it back, it should match up almost perfectly. Now whenever you're using a little bit larger and a little bit skinnier rings, it takes a little bit more to get them just right, but that's the kind of closure you want to have. So that takes a little bit of practice. So if you haven't done chainmail before, be patient with yourself. I've actually gone ahead and pre-opened and pre-closed some jump rings for myself. So I'm just going to bring some in here. And I left this chain so you can kind of see what we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is make just a little simple rosette. And this is just such an easy technique, but it makes a chain look so pretty. So you just take an open jump ring, and you take a closed jump ring, and you put the open jump ring through the closed jump ring, and I'm going to close this. Now normally I tell you not to close it with this curved end, but this is such a large jump ring that the more of it I can grab, the better surface I have. So in this case, space is not a problem for us, so it's not really a problem to use that back end of it. So you can see once I closed it, see how we have this nice little overlap and we get this little rosette shape. That's all we're going to be trying to do. We're going to make a bunch of these little rosette shapes. See, on that one you might have been able to see me overlap it just a little bit more. Okay, and close. And we have a second rosette. So I want you to make a bunch of those, and then I'll show you how to link them together. Okay, so now you can see I've linked a bunch of rosettes in a row, and I'm going to bring in some other, I already pre-opened these jump rings. These are an 18 gauge 3/16 jump ring, and I am going to use these to start making just a simple chain, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. So I'll pick up my jump ring, I'll pick up my first rosette grouping, then I pick up my second rosette grouping, and I'm going to close that jump ring. Okay, so that's one. I can leave this kind of folded together for just a moment while I apply the second one. It's actually easier if these are all together than letting it space back out. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, so make sure I go through all 4 of the larger sky blue jump rings. And then you can see we just have a simple 2 by 2 connections here. So I just used 2 jump rings. They just sit parallel to each other. I'm not going to make them into a rosette. I want this chain to be loose, so I'm leaving plenty of space. So now to continue making my chain, I'm coming in again with another jump ring. I'm going to link through one of these little rosette groupings, and then I'm going to add another one. Okay, come in and close. Like I said, you can leave this folded. Okay, so I added another group, and I'm going to start just one more. Add another rosette. Close. So I'm always grabbing my jump rings at around 3 o'clock. I want to show you something real briefly too, for those of you who aren't chain mailers. You feel like you're all hands when you're learning to make chains. So a lot of people tend to pick up their jump rings like off of the mat, like this. And you can see this isn't going to work. We can't really do much with it. So whenever you pick up a jump ring, you need to make sure that that jump ring is sitting parallel with the pliers. So when you're grabbing them with the pliers, if it's sitting parallel, you'll be able to actually do something with it. So you can see in this case, going down through this pair, letting it come back up out the other pair, and close. Okay, so now I have enough chain made to show you what the next step we're going to do is. And you'll notice I've added some little stripy beads. These are size 6 stripe check beads. And these are 20 gauge 5/32 jump rings. So when you're using beads, you're gonna have to go to a really small gauge jump ring, otherwise they're not gonna fit through the bead. The Japanese beads do a lot better, or Tohos have also a very large hole, but these are not anything fancy check beads. So there may be some where it does not, where the jump ring does not fit through the hole, and that's okay. Just set it off to the side and use it for a different project, for a bead project that needs a needle. Okay, so you see I just picked up the bead, slipped it onto the jump ring, and now I'm going to pass this around one of the jump rings that was linking the chain together, and I'm just going to close this. Okay, and then I'll let it drape back out. Now, what I like to do when I'm making this chain is I'm going to put one on this side, and then I'm going to flip it over and put the next bead on the other side. And while I'm mounting that, I will tell you that although you do this, these are going to be able to move around. So you can see I just ran into one where the hole's too small. So I'm just throw that off to the side. Okay, so I like to flip it over to the other side and put it on the other side just to create a greater random quality to this. However, these jump rings are so large that the beads are going to move around. And you know, when I do some of my more precise chainmail weaves, basically I make sure that the beads are going to be locked into place. But in this case, this is just a random, fun, funky chain with stripy beads, and we're just adding a little bit of flair to these very colorful Shrinket items. So we just want to have fun. You know, everything doesn't have to sit in a perfect place or be perfect all the time. This is just fun stuff to do and make that you can be easy about. You don't have to worry about making a lot of mistakes. Okay, so since I flipped to the other side, this time I'm going to put this on the closer ring, again, just to add to the randomness. If you don't do this, it's okay. But basically, we're just adding a bead to our jump ring and adding these jump rings to the jump rings that are in between each of the rosettes. And that's basically all there is to it. You can see that the one I'm working on is sky blue colored, and then I'm using yellow with black striped beads. I have a whole bunch of these striped beads right now, but I have heard that they are going to discontinue making them. So when they're gone, they're gone. So just fair warning, because you know, I do have a lot of them. They should last a while, but of course the most popular colors go first, like the Christmas striped beads, and there's a few combinations, the black and whites, that tend to get sold most quickly. So anyway, this is how we make our chain. You can see the one that I made for my necklace was in seafoam green, and I still had the black in between, and I used a white with, these are said to be a red stripe, but they really look coral, and I love to wear this piece with some of my summer outfits. I think I was wearing it at Bean Button last year when Julie and I met up. So anyway, you can see that this will go beautifully with this piece, just as this goes beautifully with this piece. I've got the yellow in the leaves back here. We've got some yellow in the beads. We've got the black, and we've got some blues that chain's gonna pick up on. So the sky's the limits on this. You can really have some fun and play with this and make your own creation. I think I made mine probably 40 inches long, but if you prefer a 20-inch chain, that's completely up to you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you continue to have fun with your Shrinkets, and give chainmail a little try. You don't have to be too serious about it. It can just be a fun little project to add to your next Julie Haymaker pendant that you make. Thanks so much.